The following clip is presented to you by The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, available every Friday wherever you get your podcasts and at extremehardy.com. He was ahead of the curve with that stuff.
He was, yeah. And there's actually around this time, John, there's a story that I should share that I don't think I've really ever shared this before.
Let's hear it.
So whenever I got fired from WWE for a few weeks there during the whole Edge fiasco, right? So I was talking with Jeff Jarrett, and my brother had already done stuff down at TNA, and like I got real hot during that time. When the people were chanting like "We want Matt," and all the stuff that happened during that time, there was a lot of momentum on my side. And then WWE were, obviously had reached out to me again. Everything was good, and they were wanting me to come back. But I had spoke with Jeff, and Jeff had put a great deal on the table for me. That I could possibly go to TNA. So obviously, I was kind of not keeping him in the loop of these WWE conversations I was having as well. And whenever I first showed up on Raw, whenever I run out and hit the ring on Edge and we have the fight, and it's when I say, "Come see me in Ring of Honor," that whole deal, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was in New Jersey, I believe. And I remember sitting in the limo. I had flown in, got there right before the show. I was sitting in the limo. Vince came out, talked to me, big hug, everything else. "Oh, so great to have you. This is going to be great, pal. I'm so excited," and this and that and whatever. And then Adam came out for a minute, and we talked about kind of what we were going to do for a second. And then I remember getting a text from Jeff Jarrett saying, "Look, man, I know you're in New Jersey. Just tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth." I had been sworn to secrecy, not to say anything about this return that was happening or whatever. And I did. And then like immediately thereafter, I remember we had that segment on TV. I said, "Yes, I am here." They gave me a deal I couldn't refuse. I had to come back. "Thank you so much for your generosity, and I appreciate that." But, it ends up financially and from a business standpoint, this is what I need to do and come back here and work, because I actually got a raise from whenever I was released before and the money I was making. So I came back making more money, and it was more money than I would have made there. And there's a small part of me, I'm sure Jeff was pissed. He had spent all this time interacting with me and whatnot, and like trying to bring me to TNA, but also being the businessman that he is, the savvy businessman that he is, I'm sure he understood why he ended up making that decision as well.
Did he extend an actual offer to you?
Yeah.
Did you agree to an offer with him?
I had said that's looking like what I'm going to do, but I hadn't signed anything or whatever.
Okay. So you gave a verbal, "I think this is what I want to do," but it was not pen to paper.
Yeah. None of that had happened, yeah. Because once again, I couldn't even have done anything until my 90 days was up. But, I was back well before my 90 days was up.
Fascinating. Do you think that...
I think that's the first time I've publicly told this story.
Do you think that any resentment from that may have festered over the years?
Possibly. There's certainly a lot of resentment that lies between myself and Jeff Jarrett, so that could have played a part in it, I guess.
Wow. Interesting. I've certainly never heard that story, so wow. I mean, you haven't really spoken even about that time period very much on this podcast yet.
Right.
And hopefully at some point long form we'll get to, but that's really an interesting story. Okay, so did you have any communication with Jeff much after that for a while, or did it kind of go dark for years?
It went dark for a while.
Okay. Interesting.